créateur des New Kids on the Block, Maurice Starr. On a remarqué son nom pour la première fois lorsqu'il a créé la formation New Edition au début des années 80. Depuis, il est devenu un des producteurs les plus recherchés. Il est auteur, compositeur, interprète, un gérant et un véritable homme d'affaires. Grâce à lui, les New Kids on the Block ont vendu plus de 14 millions d'albums à travers le monde. Je vous invite à rencontrer celui que l'on surnomme le Général. Voici Maurice Starr. Starr, that's a name that I think is synonymous with a lot of things. You often read the name and associate it with genius comes after sometimes, star maker, an achiever, an entrepreneur. But you didn't start off life as Maurice Starr. You were born, obviously, and christened Larry Johnson. What was Larry like as a kid?
Larry was a shy guy. He was a guy who he went to school. He kind of did everything his mother and father told him to do. I was in before the sun came down, I had to be in the house. I had to go to church on Sundays. If my mother had choir rehearsal through the week, she'd always, look around and she'd say, okay, let me grab Larry. He'll do anything I say. So I think I was a person who was quiet, shy type.
By the time you were 10, you knew that, yeah, this is what I'm going to do. I mean, what were you listening to at home?
I think there was so much there. My mother was playing gospel. My father was playing jazz. Yeah. And my older brothers were playing the music of today. So it was different combinations going all around, so I had a chance to, then when I go to church, I would get a chance to feel the gospel. When somebody sang, that's, you just felt it in your body. So I would have to say it was a combination of things, gospel, jazz, which really is all gospel anyway.
What about Motown? I mean, I'm a Motown fanatic, and I believe that it must have influenced you to a certain degree, even just the way it operates, because there are some similarities that I see in you, when I think of Berry Gordy Jr. back then.
I have to agree with you. I mean, Motown and Berry Gordy probably was the biggest influence in my career. I think Berry, for his guidance and leadership and his creative ability and his ability to put the right people in place to make things happen, to make stars, I like his abilities to do stuff like that. And as far as the musical sound, I like that sound that they could use for the Jacksons and the Four Tops and Supremes, and it all comes out to a hit. And one thing reminded you of the other. So I think I used their ways a little bit in that, because you hear a touch of New Edition in New Kids and a touch of Perfect Gentleman in New Kids, New Edition. So I use kind of their foundation a lot. A touch of class, all the things I wanna be.
Your initial dream was to be a performer, a singer, and you went ahead and you pursued that dream till you were approximately 25 years old. I mean, this was initially what you wanted to do. What kind of songs were you singing? Were they your own songs? You had 2 albums prior to your becoming a manager and producer, arranger, etc. What was your dream?
I think my dream in the beginning was to become a star.
Yeah.
That was my first dream. I never cared too much about producing, writing, managing, and stuff like that. I always wanted to leave that up to other people.
Right.
So, but I'm glad I got into producing, managing, and writing.
That you are.
And, but I think the first thing I wanted to be was a star. I had to be a star. There's someone waiting for me, and I know this life is for me. For
reason that your album didn't maybe make the bang that you would have liked it to make? Was it because the album today, when you think back, was not as good as it could have been? Or was it because there wasn't anybody around doing the right kind of promotion?
I think it was promotion. I could take that same album today and probably make it a hit.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you remember the first songs that you wrote and how old you were? Really?
I was 9 years old. The first thing I wrote was called The Girl in Yellow.
The Girl in Yellow. How did you write back then? What did you do? Lock yourself up in your room and just...
No, I was, I had listened to a lot of Motown stuff and everything, and one day I went to the barber shop. And once I was leaving there, I looked back and it was a girl in yellow. So I said, I went to the barber shop and saw the girl in yellow. I said, hey, you know she really stole my heart. She was the girl in yellow. When I see her walking down the street, my poor heart seemed to skip a beat. She's the girl I got to know. She's the girl I just love her so. There's no place I'd rather be than with the girl in yellow. The first time I just put my name on a record as a producer. I said I'm gonna take a chance because since I can't find a producer, you know, on my first record in 1978, I put my name down, produced, written, arranged, and produced by Maurice Starr. I did write it though and arrange it. Record became a kind of a local hit, and then RCA picked it up, and then became okay, record across the nation. But you know, people start calling me, oh, we're looking for producers, you know. I say, yeah, well, you know, I'm a producer. I hope, you know. So people just saw my name on the record as a producer, and that's how I got other contracts with major labels, because they say, is this producer in Boston named Maurice Starr? Yeah. I didn't know what a producer was, but so I just I was doing it.
All right, we got a heck of a show here for you tonight. Of course, we got New Kids on the Block.
How did the General come to be?
The General came to be, I knew this tour was coming up, the Magic Summer Tour. And Maurice Starr was taking on a heavy role as a businessman the past 3 years. You know, I've been in the big time business. Right. So, you know, the big time decision makings and the accounting and, you know, just being accountable, you know, being accountable for what I'm doing is pretty incredible within itself.
Absolutely.
So me and my brother Calvin, I'll take us back to the tour, beginning of the tour. Me and my brother Calvin was sitting in the room. My brother Calvin said, I said to Calvin, I said, Calvin, I'm looking for a name for this tour, the Magic Summer Tour. I said, because, you know, got new kids up there right now. Want to push Rick West out there, Perfect Gentleman, Chris Pittman. I said, I need a name. I said, well, what about the Lieutenant? What about the... He said, no. He said, you got to be the man over all of them, the General. He said, Elvis had the Colonel. You should be the General.
Après la pause, le général nous présente ses nouveaux soldats.
Buzz on the buzz.
All the niggas on the block, that's when I took it to the street, you know. I remember the first time I went into a flower shop and I heard this little white kid singing. And I said, hey, you want to be in a group and all? I said, I'm, you know, Maurice Starr. He hadn't really heard of New Edition. So, and I said, well, here's my number. If you want to do this, give me a call. I got a call. It wasn't from him. It was from the FBI saying that, you know, why is this big black man giving little white boys his telephone number? So, So I got a friend of mine named Mary Alford who knew a lot of young white kids with soul, and she went and picked out the kids. We went through about 50 kids, and they just had to have a nice look, raw look, nice personality, and they just had to have it, that hip, you know, that hip hop, that soul, and had to know how to rap and break dance, and they just had to have some soul.
Your
son is in Perfect Gentleman. I asked him in an interview, I said, Maurice, I said, did you always want a singing career? Did you want it? He says, actually, no, I think my dad wanted it for me, but he enjoys it now. Did you find that he had natural talent?
That he didn't want to do music in the beginning. I really wanted him to do it because I knew at one time I was going to put one of my kids into New Edition. But they were just a little bit too little then. So I've always wanted them to be in a group. And so one day he went to school and he said, Daddy, everybody wants New Edition autograph. They don't think I know them and blase, blase. So I said, well, why don't you get in the group? He said, nope. So then he came home from New Kids on the Block. Daddy, everybody in the world wants New Kids on the Block. I said, well, why don't you get in the group? Maybe. So I said, I almost got him. So I stayed on top of him, and he finally said yes. And I said, good. So I saw my next door neighbor, which is Corey, who's in the group. He was running from his sister on his bicycle, on his little tricycle that he had stole from his little niece. He was just riding around, and I saw him. Then he turned over, and she beat him. I said, that kid is so cute. He's so cute. So I said, you want to get in the group? I brushed him off and everything. You want to get in the group? And he says, I don't know. What would I do? I said, well, let me show you the studio. I showed him the studio. And he said, okay. And then the other little kid, Tyrone, I had seen in talent shows, but none of them had never sung. I taught him how to sing and how to work the shows. Here they are.
Do a little bit of a rap.
Remember the day. It was oh so sad.
Can you really teach somebody if they can just sort of like keep a tune? Is that enough to make them decent singers?
They don't even have to keep a tune. I can teach anybody how to sing. Anybody. How to sing and how to be a star. I haven't met a person yet I couldn't make a star.
Maurice, what's star quality for you? What do you see in a person that makes you know that they're going to be a star?
I think it's just a lot of times, first it's a vibe. The vibe's got to be there first, and then it's a feeling that I get. It's a look that I'm looking for. It's kind of a chain reaction of things that has to happen. So I would say first, it's the vibe first, the feeling second, the look third, and then I would like to see their talent just grow as I talk to them gradually.
Can somebody learn what the right vibe is, what the right look is, or is that innate? You have to be born with that right vibe, according to you.
I think a vibe is very important. Yes, that's one thing that you have to have. A lot of times people will get a vibe from being around other friends or people that give them or give off a good vibe. So it is possible to, after so many years, to get a better vibe than you were even born with in your childhood. People can change.
You want an ice cream or a milkshake?
Sure.
What flavor?
Chocolate milkshake.
Chocolate milkshake. What's the first thing that comes to your mind when I say Donnie?
Donnie? Wow. Different, but amazing, charming, sweet, kind, and sometimes different. Different.
Different in what way?
I just think, like sometimes he's kind of elusive for a lot of people to understand. So that's what I mean by different.
But I guess that's what makes him special in his own right.
Maurice heard about me, and him and a friend asked me to try out and come meet him. And when I went to meet him, he was telling me, oh, I'll make you this and that. And I had known a lot of Maurice's work and stuff. So, I didn't think he'd really be interested in me, but he saw talent in me that, I didn't take seriously. I did a lot of dancing and rapping and stuff like that, and he saw it in me, and he took it serious. He saw that it could really work on a professional level.
What about Joe?
Joe, it's cute, cuddly. The little kid that everybody wants to be their little brother. So,
or their little boyfriend now from the letters that we've been getting.
the boyfriend also.
Jonathan?
Jonathan really cares. Jonathan cares about all the fans. He cares about everybody. Jonathan's a very lovely person. Love to be loved and love to give out love.